and reflecting both here and from afar from China on European legal scholarship. What is your sense of where things are going?
Maybe it's easier to start by saying where I think things have been and end up with where they're going. I think there are several changes in EU legal scholarships in the past years, even before the ELJ got off the ground. One is the increasing importance of law in context scholarship, and there are thousands of varieties of this. We even had this at the EUI, as you will remember, and Augustine will remember, many years ago, every person on the law in the law department claimed to do law in context. But there were a lot of mutually inconsistent versions. That's fine. That doesn't mean that positive law scholarship has disappeared. Not at all. I think that remains important, but there is this current of law in context, maybe in law, context, maybe in law, not on law only, but in other fields, but certainly in the legal field, which has become extremely important. I wouldn't say it's dominant. And I mentioned before, I'm giving a seminar to launch a series about methodological issues in European law to be held here in Aix at the university. And the French tradition remains mainly positivist one. I think that's why they wanted to hear the strange things I'm going to tell them, to have some contrast. And the second thing is the impact of law in context, I think, has been very different in different countries. I mean, Christian and Jurgis and I used to compare Germany and the UK, for example, very different situations. And I'm sure Mark knows much more about this than I do. And that's true in other countries too, probably Netherlands, Italy, and so on. The other element I think is very important, and it's partly due to the ELJ, and that is most journals, so far as I know, in the European law field, select other articles based on the quality of the article, not on the name or the status of the author. We in the ELJ over the years rejected a number of articles by very distinguished lawyers, judges, and academics whose work was published everywhere elsewhere. And I don't think we regretted it for more than a few minutes. That was a big impact. And I think you see it in this international workshop for young scholars, which I began in Aix in 2004, and which then rotated to different universities. That's a couple. The other, of course, is online. You know, we're part of this online revolution. In fact, we've been for better or worse, part of the online revolution for the last couple of years, as far as my teaching and most meetings are concerned. And then the other thing I would mention is internationalization. For better or worse, that was one of the elements I tried to promote very strongly. I think some people did not like that, but that's life. And so we had a post, a managing editor in Shenzhen in South China, the world's most dynamic city, a different culture, and so on. So those are some of the elements. I think the other thing, and I'll mention this last because other people will no doubt will speak about this. In writing this, a recent article about soft law, hard law, and executive management, I went through an enormous amount of literature, including Harm's book and articles, Augustine's articles in the ELJ. And what you find there is an increasing emphasis on politics, on history, and on certain key moments in European history. Think of the Weimar Republic or the Holocaust or the financial crisis in the EU in the past few years. I mean, I think all of these have had a very big impact on European law scholarship that most people, including me, I'm sure, have not realized as a whole until recently. And so that's one thing I hope the ELO will be able to take up.